Blue Castle Ventures is a rewards point system based on the blockchain. And with me is CEO and founder David Rojas to bring me up to date on the company, what's new. We talked a few months ago, and so bring me up to date on where you are right now with Blue Castle.
Thank you for having me once more. We're still working on the past projects that we had before regarding, well, the housing part that we wanted to offer sort of mortgages based off these points. Like I told you before, we distance ourselves a little bit from the names crypto and NFTs, but we still offer digital assets with real collaterals. That's the basic of our company. And we started to develop some other products, kind of emulate banking products a little bit. So we, as I told you before, we have like a type of CD that gives you at least 20% a year. So last year we had like 21.7%.
On a CD?
Because, yes, because we use stocks instead of regular vehicles like fixed income and so on. So that's been very interesting to the point that some crypto exchanges have been trying to hire us. And we're like, no, we don't work with cryptocurrencies because right now the crypto name is really in a bad position due to everything what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, but it's interesting that even these companies are trying to hire us to make profit for them, and kind of they doing the front end and us like working behind. We have a very strict kind of policy of not working with anything that has no collateral behind it.
I see, yeah. So, and you've always been that way. I remember when we first talked, you always had something to back it up.
Yeah, and I predicted all the debacle that happened with these big exchanges. I called the FTX before it happened. So yeah, basically that's what has been going on. On another note, a very important thing that's going on right now is that we are approaching a traditional institution.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, explain a little bit more about. Can you tell us who it is, or?
No, not yet.
So what might that relationship look like?
It's just that right now digital wallets are very popular everywhere, and the Latin American market is a very unexplored market. It's just that the regulations in the U.S. are tougher. Now we see why these problems with the banks that we have right now. But in another places, it's a little bit easier to try these new trends or products. So one of those countries is Colombia, another one is Ecuador, and we have been very successful. And one of those financial institutions that launched a digital wallet, which is fully regulated in Colombia, they want us to provide them with the services of the digital CD. So they could offer better returns under the sandbox legislation. That is the one that we have in Canada, the same, in which Blue Castle is working. Like we were not attached to the traditional financial laws, just the sandbox for fintech and new projects that try to change the game here. So it's been very, very positive, and perhaps it won't be US first, but maybe Colombia, where we are going to be regulated like a traditional financial institution. It's like our company always has had like the vision of having 5 streams of business. One is the part of banking, another one housing with the project of the mortgages, like the digital mortgages. Another project or another line of business that we want to get onto is like health and anti-aging, right? Right now we are working on a project that also may be developed in Colombia, like an actual project, a building and everything. We want to get into vertical farming in the future, and maybe R&D for new sources of clean energy. So in the future, what we want to do with Blue Castle is to have like an umbrella of services where people can have everything, and we could provide it in a more approachable way or better way for the customer, because normally the customer gets all the exposure to the risk, but they are not experts. So we try to get the best people involved to do these things.
Okay, interesting. A lot of innovative industries there that you're working with. You mentioned the bank failures. What do you think of that? What we've seen in the U.S., there's been some European banks fail as well. What's your take on that?
The same position that we have always had with Blue Castle, regulation is extremely important, and when you are not very strong in looking what institutions are in the market, then you get these problems because you have these banks, some of them had even 31 warnings, and why are they still working with no consequences? So only when they finally fail, they make the whole system shake because the financial world is based upon trust. And if you cannot trust the banks, what is going to happen? If you don't trust these, what's going to happen, right? Because this is not something that you can touch. It's there, it's in the air. So if there is no trust, the whole system shakes. So that's why I think it's remarkable what the government did, and they covered all the deposits, regardless the limits. Like they said, okay, let's save everybody, like the customers. Finally, they did it for the first time, not like it happened in 2008. So that was great what the government did this time, like showing that they were backing up the financial system. And that is why it's so important always to work with regulations. That's why today I still wonder why these crypto exchanges are able to go like on Nasdaq or different exchanges, and us doing the right thing, we haven't been able to. So we're working towards that.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask about that. You had talked about an IPO at some point. Where does that process stand?
At the moment, we are open to capital privately, just to raise enough funds for different projects, including an IPO. So fellas, contact us now because we are open to give up some equity right now to private investors, and maybe in the future, in the near future, you could be, you can get some profit from jumping on a company that is exactly.
Right. Where can somebody go to find out more about the company?
Oh, you can go to www.bluecastleventures.ca. And you can find all the information about us there. And remember, like, we are based in Canada. Canada is a country which has regulations almost as tough as American, but is not as exposed to risk as the US. So it's nice to have a diversification. You guys won't have problems with taxes, like the taxman will get you anywhere you are.
Yeah.
But having some money in Canada is not a bad idea. And that's been very attractive, for example, from people from Ecuador. Right now, Ecuador is going through a very tough social and economic process, and many people are trusting us with their funds for us to manage. And up to today, no one has ever had a problem with liquidity. We have always been able to, like, if someone wants to withdraw their money, they have been able to. And we have been doing this for a long time. And that has built a lot of trust in our brand. Like, our brand is very strong there. So I hope we make it one day in the States.
Yeah.
But here's tougher. Like, people are a little bit scared to, new things.
Yeah.
So I hope the States someday can host us and receive us.
Okay, well, we'll see. Best of luck to you, David.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.